Good evening, Flyers fans, and welcome back to Clear the Ice, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Your boy Matty B on the call. A really good game. Flyers played extremely well tonight up in Montreal. Ristolainen was back in the lineup. Cam York came back into the lineup, and the Flyers, maybe that was the jolt they needed because they played, I'm not going to say perfect. Still like 14 giveaways, but, for a young team that's scratching and clawing for every point they can get, it was very, very impressive victory tonight, 4-1 over the Canadiens up there in Montreal. And Joe Hell says, great win. 100% agree with you, Joe. It's going to be hard for me to critique this one with maybe a couple exceptions of the 0 for 3 on the power play tonight. But the Flyers pretty much stayed out of the penalty box as they only were shorthanded one time. And they brought that 81.6 shorthanded percentage to bear, and they killed off the one penalty that they had. 14th in the league in killing penalties under Flyers so far through 32 games of this season. Dan Vladar did not get much work, but he was Johnny on the spot when required, and he played himself a pretty good game. Flyers did actually go down early in this game, but then would pile on 4 unanswered and find their way to a 4-1 win. And actually, heading into that third period, up 3-1, I didn't feel I know it's been helter-skelter with this team all season long when it comes to coughing up leads, when it comes to them coming back from deficits. But I felt pretty calm heading into the third period about overall how this team had played in the first and second period. So, outstanding win. The Flyers now have gone to the 40-point plateau on the season. 17-9-6 now for your season as they beat Montreal tonight 4-1 up there in Quebec. And by the way, for those of you that are curious, here is the rest of your week on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Tomorrow, Pittsburgh Sports Desk, and I'm back with the final word. And then Thursday, full night of action. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It just never stops here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, and that's a great thing. So let's get into this bad boy. As I mentioned, a night of returns for the Flyers. Ristolainen and Cam York returning to the lineup. The Flyers did scratch healthily Noah Juleson. Igor Zamula sent his ass back down to Lehigh Valley, by the way. And Nikita Grabenkin were scratches for the Flyers. For the Canadiens, Mike Matheson, Samuel Montabolt, Jared Davidson also were the game time scratches for the Montreal Canadiens. In net for the Flyers, Dan Vladar. Again, not much work, 22 shots, but he was pretty damn good. Saved 21 of them, finishes the night with a .955 save percentage. For the Canadiens, Jacob Fowler got the nod. He faced 20 shots, and he had not a really good night. He gave up 4 goals, finishes with the 8.850 save percentage. Let's get into this game. Let's start breaking it down. We got some fun goals to talk about tonight as the Flyers played some they kind of returned some favors tonight that's been happening to them throughout this season, and it was good to see this one goal that we'll get to in a minute. But Mr. Zegras had another great game. Yeah, it's hard to kind of sit back and kind of, critique that trade. Brian Paling for Trevor Zegras, might go down, maybe potentially is one of the greatest trades. It's not up there with the Mark Recchi for John Leclerc, Eric Desjardins trade, but it might creep into the top 10 of greatest Flyers trades of all time. So far, so good on the Zegras for Ryan Paling deal. It's definitely paying dividends for the Flyers. I thought I saw something not too long ago. Paling, 27 games played and had an offer across his stat sheet. Nothing. No points, no goals, no assists, not a damn thing. I think it was like a -7. So obviously this was a trade that worked out immensely for the Flyers, and Mr. Zegras did find his way back onto that score sheet again. But it wasn't all great, as the Flyers did find themselves in the hole early. Alexander Teixeira was third from Evans and Anderson at the 19-minute mark of the first period to give the Canadiens a 1-0 lead. So before you could get kind of comfortable in your seat, the Flyers were already down, and it was an ugly ugly giveaway turnover. I don't know what you want to call them, man. I mean, the NHL is so weird how they decipher their categories. There's essentially two categories for turnovers. There's the giveaways, which are which are unforced errors, and then your turnovers, which of course are forced errors. So we're gonna pick this thing up in the neutral zone, and the Flyers not the greatest puck handling team in the world. Matter of fact, probably one of the worst in the NHL. They're going to try to bring the puck into that neutral zone, and it's just I don't really understand there was kind of a bad concede play or a bad pass. Actually, I got the wrong goal here. Let's bring that down and let's get the Habs goal up there. That's actually a really pretty goal for the Flyers. That's their first goal, which we're going to break down momentarily. But let me bring up this bad boy. This is Montreal's first goal of the game. I was pre-editing the goals, and I had to. I must have left up the Flyers one by accident. But here we go. But this is a turnover. That doesn't change things for the Flyers to start things off. But let's bring this up. So we're going to pick up play once again in that neutral zone, and here we go. Just kind of, kicks around. I guess this will go down as a turnover, but it's going to lead to a 3-on-2, which the Canadiens, you never like this in transition, 3-on-2. Not the best defensive pairing back to deal with the 3-on-2. You got Emile Andre on the right here or on the left, and you got Jamie Drysdale on the right. This is not what you want defensively on an odd man rush if you're the Flyers. It's not Paul Coffey and friggin' Kevin Stevens back there. Not at all. So the Canadiens are going to pretty much pick and choose their poison here. Now, Drysdale, again, listen, this is the problem with a transitional play, and I'm not going to kill Drysdale for this, but I just have an inherent problem. I played defense when I was a younger man in my hockey days. I would never let anybody go unmolested to my net. I understand. I'm not ragging on them because obviously this is all messed up, and you got to pick your poison here too. But I'm not going to let anybody go unmolested to the net. That's just not what I'm going to do. I'd rather just, to hell with it. I got two guys that are desperately trying to get back into the play. I'm going to take my chances on allowing the pass to go through, and I'm going to make sure that I pick up this guy. I'm not letting him go. But Drysdale, again, not the fleetest of foot defenseman, allows the guy to get behind him, and then it's just sort of, let's just have some fun with that play. Canadiens take the lead 1-0, and a bad, ugly goal all around defensively, and the Flyers left Vladar kind of out on an island there. And there you have 1-0 Canadiens. But the Flyers would settle down, and they would get back in this thing at the 1939 mark of that first period. Carl Grunderson, his third from Tippett and Couturier to tie it up. Now, this is a pretty goal. We're going to bring this bad boy up because this is nice. This is pretty. As we wait for this one. Two very early goals in this game. Kind of had the old Matty B's got the post game. We're going to deal with like 19 goals tonight. I was starting to be like, oh, man, come on. It's a pain in the butt to have to go and try to clip these things out. Wait for these sites to post these goals and then steal them and then get them ready for this. But every single game that I do, it seems like it's going to be like a 9-10 goal type thing. But things settled down after this one. But it was the Carl Grunderson. This is going to be his goal here. His third of the season. Let's bring it up. Let's bring this up. This is a pretty goal. This is the goal we started looking at erroneously first, but Flyers in the neutral zone, and they're going to actually break into the neutral zone pretty good. Now, I want to stop it kind of right. Let's let the play go a little bit as Tippett's going to kind of sit here. Now, let's stop it here because I want you guys to pay attention to something that I noticed as I was breaking this thing down. So you got Tippett along the wall. You only got 3 Flyers currently in the offensive picture, right? Tippett along the wall. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 Canadians. So the Canadians got the numbers. There's no real odd man situation here. It's actually not a very high percentage scoring play. But when all 4 of your defensemen are fixated on the puck is the problem. No one's paying attention to Owen Tippett. No one's paying attention to this guy. No one's paying attention to anybody but Sean Couturier with the puck, and you can't have it. Let's stop it again. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 Canadian players staring at Couturier. Even the fifth guy that's late into the play is fixated on Couturier and the puck. Nobody's paying attention to the two wingers. And that's just not good defense. And look at the spacing. It's like 1-on-4. Like Sean Couturier is actually going to make a decision here to take on 4 defensemen. Again, sometimes, and it's easy to play hindsight, sit back here and look at these and break these things down when it's not going at you a million miles an hour. I understand, but you're at the NHL level. This doesn't look good, and you should be able to identify it doesn't look good pretty quickly. The Canadians don't, thankfully for the Flyers, and we got all kinds of breakdown. This has just got. I mean, again. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 guys are still fixated now on Tippett with the puck. Nobody is paying attention to the off winger who's going in unmolested. I mean, again, this doesn't look right, and it shouldn't feel right if you're a Montreal Canadian hockey player. Tippett's going to do the smart thing, and we're going to play a little tic-tac goal, and the Flyers have tied this game. Good. I'm glad the Flyers scored on that. The Canadians deserved to give up a goal there. Just a beautiful play by the Flyers, a nightmare play by the Montreal Canadiens, and now we got ourselves a 1-1 hockey game, and that's how the score would be heading into that first intermission. For the first period, the Flyers would outshoot Montreal 9-6, and now we move on to the second period, and it's Bobby Brink time from Michkov, his 10th, or Brink's 9th from Michkov, his 10th at the 19:10 mark of the second period. Again, another early goal allowed, and this goal, again, this is one of the payback. This is the payback goal that I mentioned. You remember the plays earlier this season? I believe it was Emil Andre was involved in one, and then what was it the other night? Was it Zegras? Who was it the other night? Was it Andre again? I think it was Andre both times, where they were not paying attention to the players in the zone, and a guy came up from behind Andre, lifts his stick up, creates the end zone turnover, leading to a score. Well, the Flyers got a little sweet revenge tonight, as they're going to get some payback here, which is nice. This is a really fun goal to watch. This makes hockey fun. So we're going to pick up play right here in the Flyer. Well, actually, yes, it's in the Flyer zone right now, but the Flyers are going to come out. Oh, I'm sorry. This ain't the goal. This is the 2-on-1 with Zegras and Brink. Man, I'm all off tonight. Flyers force a turnover, and we're going to go out 2-on-1. And it's just a matter of picking your spot. Flyers don't do this too well, but the Canadians really, they gave him the whole lane. Again, in this type of situation, when you're a defender, you got two choices. You're going to play the puck or you're going to play the pass. And, you got the goalie behind you, so you're going to go with that. You got to make a decision what you want to do. Obviously, the defender decided to play the puck and, pick your poison there. And it didn't work because Zegras is all alone, and he's just going to find his 5-hole lane there and make it 2-1 Flyers. So Trevor Zegras with his 4 goals now in the last 4 games, as Zegras continues to shine for the Flyers. One of the great trades in Flyer history, as we mentioned. And now it's the Bobby Brink goal. I skipped over that. It was Zegras' 14th from connecting his 20th, and Andre his 7th at the 6:26 mark of the second period. That was that goal. God damn. This is the Bobby Brink goal that occurred at the 19:10 mark of the second. The Flyers would build that 3-1 lead heading into the third period. This is a pretty goal. Let's bring this one up. Let's bring this one up. This is the revenge goal. This is the goal where the Flyers were able to get a little sweet revenge after being snake bitten a couple times with this very same exact type of situation over the course of the past 10 games. This happened twice to them. It's not really very fun to see, especially if you're a fan of the team, because it really just kind of calls into question their awareness abilities. But the Flyers are going to get a little turnarounds, fair play type situation here. Let's bring this one up. All right, so we're going to head into the Canadian zone. Harmless enough play right here. Fowler's going to come out and try to play the puck. He's not going to be paying attention to somebody coming around his back as here comes, I believe that's Michkov. No awareness there by the goalie. He leaves the puck off for Michkov, who then is going to come right out in front. And Bobby Brink, who did not get all the shot, and I understand why, because I know I've been in that situation before. Your eyes just get like huge, and your eyes get really big in that situation because you know you got a gift coming to you. And 9 times out of 10, you misplay the shot, or you either shoot it, you miss it, you mistime it, or you shoot it, too hard and you go over the net. But thankfully, Bobby Brink missed it just enough to where he got enough English on it to get it in the open net to give the Flyers a 3-1 lead. The revenge goal, as I like to call it, as the Flyers have been snake bitten with that play throughout this season. And that is your score heading into into the second intermission. And that would be the Flyers would outshoot Montreal 9-4 in that period. The third period was, again, it wasn't Flyers had their chances offensively in that third period. Their defense was really stout, nothing majorly significant. Again, Vladar did not 22 shots all night on the net all night. Got challenged a couple times, but really was stout to the answer, and that's how you're going to get it. Connecticut will add the empty netter at the 18:25 mark of the first period, or the third period, to ice it 4-1 for the Flyers. In the third period, the Flyers were outshot 12-3 by Montreal, but it does not matter as the Flyers hold on to the win 4-1. Again, on the night, the Flyers were outshot 22-21 by the Canadiens, but I'll take 22 shots allowed. I will take it any night of the week. Flyers were 0-for-3 on the power play. Montreal 0-for-1. Flyers gave the puck away 15 more times tonight. They took it away 4, blocked 13 shots. Montreal blocks 10, takes it away, or gives away 8, and only 2 takeaways. As the Flyers were pretty good with that, but the Flyers were, they were all right, I guess. But there you go. 4-1 Flyers, 40 points now as they are back in that, that mix and jumbleness of the Eastern Conference. Flyers, I think, entered the night as the 6th or 7th seed, the first wild card. But in that Metro division, where I think there's like 7 points separating from the first place team and the last place team, you got to get points and you got to keep winning these games. And as we head towards the holiday break, very important stretch of games here: Buffalo, New York, Vancouver. Then we get to Christmas, and then they head out on the annual New Year's Eve Western Canada trip, Western Canada / West Coast trip. And they are actually, this is Western Canada. They're not going to the West Coast, so it's going to Western Canada, Calgary, Vancouver, and Edmonton. The annual rite of Christmas there for hockey fans. But this is an important stretch of games heading into the break. 3 winnable games now. Definitely winnable against Buffalo on Thursday and winnable against the Rangers on Saturday. You got to try to steal points anywhere you can get them, and this is your Clear the Ice lineup. I got you tonight. Mike will be back Thursday, and I'll have you Saturday. Hopefully, I won't be jumbled up on the goals. Hopefully, I'll have everything straightened out by then and be able to give you a clear goal report and not mistake 2 different goals for 2 other goals. But, hey, it's live radio. What you going to do? 4-1 Flyers, and a very complete effort. One of the more complete efforts of the season as this young team, now with Ristolainen and Cam York. This is a huge thing right now. One, the Flyers technically only have 1 player on the injury report, and I don't even see Forrester on there, but technically it's only 1 player, right? You get 2 very important defensemen back, Cam York and Ristolainen. Ristolainen, who hasn't played in about 19 years, dealing with that nasty injury he suffered last year. This should hopefully stabilize one of the weaknesses of this team and potentially provide a little bit more offensive spark. And maybe perhaps we've seen the last of Igor Zamula and as well as Emil Andre, because I'm really done with both of them. But this is a big step here for the Flyers to get these 2 guys back, and hopefully they can stay in the lineup, stay healthy, and begin to sort of work some of that rust off. Cam York is desperate for a rebound of a season. I really need him to start producing. And Ristolainen, of course, with that $8 million or whatever contract he's got, needs to produce as well. But it's a good sign that they're both in the lineup tonight, and that blue line might be getting a little bit more stable for the Flyers, and hopefully that will serve dividends down the road. But Flyers with the big win tonight, 4-1, and a complete domination of the Montreal Canadiens. I'll call it what it was. It was a pretty dominant performance. Again, here's your schedule for the week on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. All the greatness tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure you're tuned in for all that stuff, as well as all the post-game stuff, Flyers and Eagles. That's going to wrap me up. I really don't have much more to get into. 4-1. We start out on this funky road trip that goes now to Buffalo, then to New York, and then what? Home against Vancouver, and then to Chicago. It's a real weird really weird road trip with one home game sandwiched in the middle of it. So the Flyers break the 3-game winless streak, get to the 40-point plateau, and are starting to get a little wind on that sail as we get some injured players back. So great win tonight. We'll see you guys next time on Clear the Ice, and make sure you're staying tuned for all the great stuff here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And in the immortal words of the late, great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.